On my 30th birthday, I received a love letter from 17-year-old Ethan Carter and discovered I could communicate with his teenage self. He awkwardly asked, "Did we end up getting married?" I lied. Yes. The truth was he died that summer. During my blind date, the guy excused himself to the restroom. His phone lit up with a text message, "She's okay but mediocre." At 30, I can do better. I paid the $50 check calmly. When he returned offering to split, I declined. My mother called as I left, "He's a civil servant. Why aren't you being realistic?" I bought a discounted birthday cake from the bakery display. At home, I lit the candles early, wishing for nothing. The flame revealed a letter smelling of freesia-to-M in a familiar messy script. No signature needed. Only Ethan ever called me that stupid nickname. The 2017 letter read, "M. I like you. Don't play hard to get." Scratched out words showed teenage embarrassment. I wrote psycho below. After a stunned pause, the ink swirled. "Who are you?" "Your fairy godmother," I teased. When he called my bluff, I warned about the next day's basketball injury. He ignored me. Memories surfaced. Transfer student Ethan with fox-like eyes kicking my chair during the placement exam. "Help out." He'd grinned. We both failed spectacularly. Trapped in the remedial class. He'd ruffle my hair. "M. Your English sucks." My 30-year-old self stared at the magical stationery when the blind date guy texted, "Wanna try again? You're a decent plan B." Before replying, Ethan's new message appeared, "Real fairy godmothers don't curse people." I sprained my ankle. I remembered teenage Ethan pretending to be injured to make me fetch things. "Need help peeing too?" I'd snapped. He'd buried his face in my neck. His breath hot, "If you're offering." The paper quivered with his new question, "If you're magical." "Where are you?" "I can't see you." Outside, the city lights blurred as midnight approached. My cake's expiration date matched my youth, both past their prime. Yet through the yellowing pages, 17-year-old Ethan persisted, demanding answers I never gave. I dipped the pen in ink. My 30-year-old loneliness bleeding through the cursive, "Look closer. Dumbass." The words glowed briefly, bridging 13 years and 2 graves. His physical, my emotional. Somewhere in 2017, a boy with scraped knees would read this under the desk light, his heart racing like mine did when the candles flickered. I gripped the pen tightly, writing slowly, "I'll be waiting for you in the distant future." His sluggish words appeared, "Did Emily become a journalist?" I wrote, "Yes." My first lie. My journalistic ideals had died during my first year after graduation. I worked an office job churning out meaningless documents daily. Did I become a police officer? I wrote, "Yes." My second lie. He never reached the future he deserved. His handwriting nearly vibrated with suppressed joy before finally adding with forced casualness, "Did Emily and I get married?" My heart burned with warmth. 17-year-old Ethan had truly liked me. How tragic that 30-year-old me only realized this now. Suppressing tears, my trembling pen wrote, "Yes." After a prolonged silence, bold cursive erupted triumphantly, "Always knew she wanted me. Fooled that idiot properly." The guilt of deception weighed heavy. In March 2017, I stood outside the faculty office after plummeting grades. The teacher's calls to my parents went unanswered. My eyes wandered over university brochures plastered across the opposite wall. College meant nothing to someone planning to die. Ethan's voice materialized beside me unexpectedly, his finger tapping a police academy brochure. "I'm going here." Ridiculous, considering his leg was still in a cast from basketball injury. When I tried to turn away, his chilled fingers gripped my neck. "You'll attend the journalism college across the street. Become a reporter." I thought he'd reference the career survey I'd submitted last week. Maybe mention integrity or courage. Instead, Ethan drawled, "You've got a nice smile." The radio played that year's viral hit "Wind Rises." I walked down the corridor without answering. At the corner, Ethan's laughter stopped me. I turned to find him haloed in sunlight. Breeze tousling his hair. Profile glowing. Where are you going? Restroom. I snapped. His eyes crinkled as the radio crooned about encountering smiles across time. Anyone subjected to teenage Ethan's antics would find him insufferable. Brief encounter. Lifelong impact. I later attended that journalism college. Crossed that street countless times. Closing my eyes for 30 seconds never conjured Ethan. Liar. Maybe we should have never met. Ethan's messages grew sparse after discovering desired answers. Days passed without new writing on the love letter I kept visible. Returning from another scolding by my balding 50-year-old boss. Fresh ink finally appeared, geometric curves sprawling across the page. I growled, Ethan. Using fairy godmother's love letter for math homework? His reply materialized, you're still here? Always. I wrote, Emily's ignoring you. Isn't she? The paper wrinkled violently. Bingo. Checking dates revealed synchronized timelines. His March 7th coincided with my menstrual cycle. Don't bother her today. A question mark appeared. It's her cycle. Words scratched out repeatedly before settling on a flustered O. Right, 17-year-old boys blush at such things. Smiling. I set down the pen. Sudden memory fragments emerged, unfamiliar yet vivid. 17-year-old Emily entering classroom. Pale-lipped. Finding mysterious ginger tea on her desk. Had she turned, she'd have seen the boy by the window hiding beneath textbook. Flaming ears exposed. This new old memory blurred as tears fell. Fresh ink questioned, where'd you get ginger tea? His response, none ya business. Changing tactics. I wrote, the fairy godmother brings message from future Emily. Teenage Ethan was painfully clueless. Silence answered. So, you'd better take my guidance seriously. Truthfully, I never held any expectations. Ethan wasn't the type to listen to anyone. Often insufferably arrogant. Yet his response was, okay. If it makes Emily like me more, then yes. At my desk. I stared at those words until my knuckles turned white around the pen. Everything I'd done. Crossing time itself to deceive my younger self. Teaching him how to stay away from Em. Don't save her anymore. Ethan. He started treating me like his personal sounding board. Every conversation began with Em and circled back to her. If life were an endless loop, Em would be his anchor point. When she wore a new hair clip, he swiped it. When some STEM guy from Class A kept borrowing her books, he crushed their basketball team. Listening to his teenage musings, I glimpsed fragments of that blue and white uniformed world I'd never truly known. Patiently, I corrected him, don't smother Em. Keep your distance, no one wants a clingy guy. Bring her bitter coffee instead of strawberry milk from the canteen. Show you care about her studies. Use please and thank you. After weeks of this, Ethan became almost civil. She doesn't hate me as much. My pen froze mid-sentence. Did you think she hated you? The pause before his reply stretched endlessly. Yes. I buried my face in my arms, remembering how I'd indeed despised him. The irony? Ethan was brilliant. Transferring midterm cost him Chinese class. But his other subjects neared perfection. Only now did I learn he deliberately failed English initially. Why copy Em's test? I demanded. His reply flared across the page, how else could I keep calling her Em? Everyone else uses Emily, I needed to be different from day one. He burned too bright. Even someone as detached as me knew high school royalty required either looks, wealth, or grades. Ethan had all three. Handsome. Police chief's son. Purposefully tanking exams for attention. Why fixate on me? His answer came in 4 words, the Em effect. Like how light gains form through Rayleigh scattering. His affection crystallized around her. The package from my mother arrived as she complained through the phone, you stood up that nice accountant again. I hung up mid-lecture. Fingers trembling over the soot-stained cookie tin. Inside lay relics, a near-empty journal. A band-aid. That hair clip. March 31st, 2017, rainstorm at the bay. Memories I thought forgotten flooded back. That Friday afternoon, I'd fled home early to find my parents bargaining over custody like used car salesmen. Neighborhood eavesdroppers clustered outside as I wished for drowning rain. Ethan crashed into this tableau, slamming the door with police chief's son authority. "Enough," he barked. "If you don't want her, I do." His grip on my wrist pulled me past gawking neighbors to a waiting motorcycle. Without asking, he crammed a pink helmet onto my head, chuckling at how it magnified my round face. He said, sea salt wind whipping his words. "Close your eyes. 30 seconds, smell the storm coming." "You're lying, 30 seconds?" That felt like forever. I'd never ridden a motorcycle before. Sitting behind Ethan, I had no choice but to wrap my arms tightly around his lean waist for safety. The bike sped through the chaotic downtown toward the distant Bay Area. By the time the sky turned indigo, the roads there grew emptier and he accelerated until only the sea breeze could keep pace. Then the rain came, drenching our clothes, trickling beneath our helmets until everything clung cold and heavy against skin except the scorching heat radiating from him. For the first time, I didn't completely hate Ethan. He laughed wildly through the downpour, breaking you out. Without that storm, I'd never have considered him a friend worth letting in. The letter's timeline reached March 31st, the heavy rain marked in my diary. Before I could contact Ethan, his messy scrawl appeared. "You there? $10 for a fortune." I replied calmly, "I'm a fairy godmother, not a mystic." "Ethan." He doodled over my neat handwriting. Distracted. I relented, "Fine. What do you want to know?" "Odds of finding her." Baffled, I hesitated. His impatience practically bled through the page. I could imagine him clicking his tongue. "It's barely noon. She rushed home without her backpack. Can't stand seeing her drown in unfinished homework. Skipping class to deliver it. 17-year-old Emily thanks your heroism. Problem is," he wrote, "no one knows where she lives. Just that she takes the bus down Youth South Road. Tons of old complexes there, gotta check them all." My breath caught. I never knew this was how he'd come for me that night. No wonder he called it luck. I consulted the stars. "Head east on Youth South Road. You'll see her." Seriously? But I lived west. He'd comb the entire Eastern District and never find me. "Ethan, the signs say you won't meet her this time." My penmanship stayed steady despite the guilt, "Trust me." When have I lied? The page stayed blank afterward. He'd bought it. Exhaustion hit, and I collapsed into bed. Dreams churned, new memories overwriting old ones, erasing themselves from my mind. That night, March 31st, 2017, Ethan wandered Youth South Road in pouring rain, never finding his girl. I waited on a couch, listening to arguments, watching storms arrive too late. Waking felt like dragging stones. My diary lay open, March 31st. Heavy rain, but the pages were blank, as if erased. The letter now bore furious ink, "Worst fortune ever." She wasn't there. I sighed, cultural differences. Divination isn't a fairy godmother's specialty. Next time I'll try prophecy. Bet she's relieved you didn't deliver homework. Ethan went silent. Grinning, I wrote, "Don't sulk. Here's M's secret, she adores when the wind blows. If you perform it at June's talent show, she'll fall head over heels." The word love bled ink where his pen had lingered before a hasty reply, "Watch me." School piano room keys belong to Sophia, student council's arts director. Talent show organizer. If Ethan wanted to practice, he'd have to deal with her. Sophia was brilliant, beautiful, and practically his childhood friend. She'd loved him. After Ethan died, she'd yanked my hair screaming, "Why wasn't it you?" Later, she fled abroad, maybe to forget him. They belonged to the same world. I didn't. Memories kept slipping. Ordinary notebooks couldn't preserve them, words vanished like my diary. I used the love letters envelope instead, writing here wouldn't reach Ethan. After March's storm, I'd somehow warmed to him. My parents divorced, Dad kept me. Mom vanished from the city. Dad dumped me at Uncle's during business trips. I protested. He didn't care. Cousin Michael, the golden child, had dropped out of elite college. Aunt spoiled him rotten. Dad said learn from your cousin, fix your grades. Michael tutored me. Glasses glinting. Smiles gentle. He actually cared, walked me home. Said girls shouldn't roam nights alone. Ethan saw him waiting at school gates. Hooked my backpack strap. Slung an arm over my shoulders. Lazy stance. Narrowed eyes fixed on Michael. Who's this? Michael. My cousin. Ethan's tension dissolved. Back then, before everything, he was my one irritating yet endurable friend. He'd drape his jacket over my head before games. All soap and warmth. Towering in crowds. Surrounded yet always shouting across courtyards to claim exclusivity. I researched communications colleges but lingered on the police academy's webpage. Sophia once warned me, Ethan pities you. He's kind to everyone, don't fantasize. I'd shrugged. Would have never considered it otherwise. April that year glowed like Willow Catkins. But 30-year-old me just wants Ethan safe. Even if it means rewriting April's last good memories. Guided by my hints, Ethan began practicing that song, forced to interact with Sophia. Rumors about them spread. When he complained via letter, I was dining with a blind date. Greasy barbecue guy. I tucked the envelope nearby, unwilling to miss Ethan's words. Everyone's shipping me with Sophia. Might get upset. I chewed my pen, but Sophia's perfect. Loving her would be easier. Long pause. His reply was sterile, you want me to like her? I checked yes. After my blind date finished devouring the food on the table, he finally looked up and asked suspiciously, what are you scribbling there? I brushed it off as work-related matters. He grunted disapprovingly and casually inquired, what's the dowry expectation in your family? The answer slipped out before I could think, a motorcycle. Both of us froze at my response. Scouring my memories provided no explanation for why I'd said motorcycle. I eventually chalked it up to a slip of tongue. Surprisingly, my date seemed pleased, perhaps motorcycles seemed cheaper than the standard $88,000 dowry to him. Lowering my head, my gaze fell on the letter where fresh ink had long dried. 17-year-old Ethan's question remained, is future happy? Truth was, after getting his desired answer that first time, Ethan never asked about their future again. As he'd put it, he'd walk into M's future himself. Now 30. I replied, she's happy. Thrilled to reunite with you across time. As Ethan grew closer to Sophia, everyone assumed they'd naturally end up together. He stopped mentioning M during our exchanges. No reserved seats at basketball games. No college advice sessions. No pestering messages. His letters dwindled. As if tired of this magical pen pal situation. The self-erasing stationery retained only his initial confession, I like you. Don't play hard to get. But scanning recent exchanges. Sophia's name dominated the pages. When Sophia tattled to my mom about me bullying classmates, I clarified I only bullied M. She annoyed me by sending shopping cart links when I asked about girls' preferences. During piano practice, she'd stubbornly linger despite my protests. April 2017 passed swiftly with Ethan consumed by June's campus festival preparations. Mastering The Wind Rises on repeat. My interference successfully created distance between him and 17-year-old M. Their paths diverging like parallel lines. May arrived, the darkest month of my existence. We suppress traumatic memories. And I'm no exception. My cousin Michael was human garbage. When Aunt screeched that her prestigious university student's son would never assault someone, That I'd seduced him. Uncle red-eyed pleaded he was drunk. Dad chain-smoked before agreeing with Mom Emily. Let it go. Girls need their reputation. Your name means go with the flow, just endure this. Only Ethan asked, what did you do wrong? Michael often tutored me in my room before my underwear started disappearing. Mom dismissed it as carelessness. That May evening when summer's heat first lingered, he pinned me in a filthy alley after school. When he finally released me, clumps of my hair in his fist, he crooned, just had too much drinks. You won't tell, right? Nobody would believe you anyway. My parents reacted exactly as predicted, transferring schools to bury the shame. That night, trembling fingers dialed Ethan. I hadn't shed tears till then, crying meant weakness. But when he appeared, still in his blue-white school uniform, I shattered. I hurt everywhere. Ethan. He held me like fragile glass yet with desperate strength. Took me to hospitals, police stations, to pummel Michael. We refused silence. At school, boys snickered while Sophia's clique pitted me. Ethan accidentally smashed a basketball into a gossiper's head during a game. Sophia later apologized through gritted teeth for leaking my story. The whispers died. Only when passing the faculty office did I witness Ethan's mother tearfully demand why he'd done this. Our eyes met through the doorway. No words needed. He emerged from dawn's light to save me from darkness. At 30, I still remember 17-year-old Ethan vividly, how he beat Michael bloody until cops dragged him off, how he lounged under flag-raising ceremonies. Sunlight illuminating his carefree grin. A soul meant for soaring heights. Radiant and untainted. Exposing Michael's school revealed his suspension for bathroom voyeurism, crimes Aunt had concealed. My former guardians knew. They'd targeted the vulnerable girl with no protector. But someone fought for me. Medical reports and police documents got Michael expelled. Local news exposed his predatory nature. Aunt and uncle stopped their accusations, becoming prisoners in their own home. Mom sighed, Emily. Enough. How will you live with this scandal? After long silence, I repeated Ethan's words, what did I do wrong? When police took Michael away, he smirked at us in the crowd, a chilling expression whose meaning I'd only comprehend later. My cousin Michael has always been incredibly intelligent. In high school, he nearly aced all his STEM subjects, which earned him admission to a prestigious university where he majored in electrical circuits. That June, when cicadas began their seasonal chorus and everything seemed tranquil, I believed Ethan and I were stepping into our brightest summer yet. Then faulty wiring sparked a catastrophic fire. After moving out of Michael's home, I lived in my father's old house. My mother wanted to stay with me, but her anxious sighs and worried glances only grated on my nerves. Eventually, I stayed alone. Ethan often visited after school to study. The owner of the corner boba shop adored him, always slipping us 2 cups of watermelon slushies. One afternoon, Ethan revealed a trembling yellow kitten hidden behind his back. Found her wandering, he said casually, though his eyes held concern. Thought you could use company. He named the stray Buttercup. I stared at the mewing fluffball. Ethan, are you afraid I'll develop depression? His shoulders shook with suppressed laughter. No. I just needed excuses to see you more. We both abruptly turned away. The sunset painting his ears the same pink as the evening clouds. The stationery connecting me to 2017 now shows May dates. My memories of 17-year-old Ethan keep fading, even Buttercup's paw prints vanished from my life. At 30, I dreamed of our June 5th fire again. In the dream, I'm still 17, eyes bright, untouched by decades of grief. Flames erupted without warning. Choking smoke filled the room before I awoke. Buttercup frantically nudged my face with singed whiskers. I'll never understand how Ethan smashed through the inferno. With our apartment engulfed, he lifted Buttercup and me through the window, remaining inside the blazing room. Firelight haloed his features as he gripped the windowsill. Skin blistering. Firefighters finally reached us. Only when their harness secured me did Ethan release his grip. Unlike reality where I'd screamed myself hoarse, Dreamy simply whispered, "You won't die this time, Ethan." Agony twisted his face as he collapsed backward into flames. My final words followed him down, "Don't save me anymore. Walk toward your future. Mine's already dark without you, but yours should shine." Awakening drenched in sweat, I turned on the lamp. The stationery glowed faintly. This truly had become my solitary dark May. After the fire, I never called Ethan. I groped through shadows alone. No steadying hand on my elbow. My mother half-heartedly apologized while secretly transferring my school records. We'd move cities in June. But I refused to suffer silently. First I slashed Michael's arm. Then I exposed his crimes to his beloved alma mater. If I bled, he'd bleed too. Without allies, this petty vengeance was all I could manage. Our relatives buried the scandal. To classmates, I'd simply taken medical leave. Rereading the time-worn stationery, I'm grateful Ethan stays untouched this time. I'll never forget Mrs. Carter's tearful rebuke after he nearly beat Michael to death. "You want to be a police officer? Why leave brawling charges like some thug?" I'd hidden around the corner, mute witness to his shattered future. Now altered events protect him. During one afternoon correspondence, Ethan scrawled, "Where's Emily been? Haven't seen her in weeks." I blinked back tears before replying, "Her cousin's wedding. She's helping with preparations upstate." Weddings? Huh. His sparse response ended the conversation. Our dialogue had shrunk from teenage Ethan eagerly asking if future him married Emily, to this tepid disinterest. 17-year-old Ethan only needed slight nudging back to his proper path. I obsessively count days until June 5th. Logically, the fire shouldn't recur that night coincides with Ethan's piano solo at the talent show. His 2-month practiced rendition of Young and Beautiful anchors the program. He'd never abandon performance obligations. Yet anxiety gnaws like pre-dawn darkness. I finally wrote, "Random question, you're still performing, right?" His delayed reply came, "Obviously. Not wasting practice time." Relief washed over me. His commitment stemmed from diligence, not lingering feelings. He never asked why Emily missed his big night. On fateful June 5th, I took leave, windows wide open. White curtains billowed like spectral dancers. Waiting felt strangely peaceful, whether for death or Ethan's final forgetting. Both meant freedom. "Ethan," I whispered to the night breeze, "I want you alive in sunlight more than anything." Dozing on the sofa, I tumbled into time's whirlpool. Flames roared to life again, no buttercup this time. Just as despair choked me, strong arms embraced my shaking form. 17-year-old Ethan shouldn't know me here. To this timeline's Emily. He's barely a classmate. Yet he came anyway. Dress shirt swapped for performance tuxedo. Fire devoured his gelled hair as he lifted me outside. "Don't panic," he gritted through pain. "Help's coming." Flames licked his shoulders. "Someone tried keeping me away tonight. When they blocked the auditorium exits. I knew you needed me." Smoldering strands fell as he smiled. "Want to hear my song early?" His trembling baritone began through scorched lungs. "Love's like fire, burns brighter, in the dark." Firefighters pulled me to safety as Ethan's grip failed. This time I wailed like reality never allowed. 17-year-old Emily somehow understood this scar would never heal. Not at 30. Not at 80. How? I screamed as flames swallowed him. "How heal without you?" His final shout pierced the roar live. "Claim your future." The stationery glows faintly on my nightstand. Somewhere across years, Ethan's ghost smiles. We both kept our promises. Goodbye, Emily. I woke from the profound dream. The letter pressed beneath my desk, fluttering faintly in the breeze. As I approached slowly, overwhelming sorrow crashed over me, bending me double. Countless memories swarmed through my consciousness, forgotten recollections and newly formed remembrances colliding to grant me sudden clarity. The letter showed every trace erased except the opening line that remained unaltered. Emily Taylor. I like you. Don't be ungrateful. The wind riffled the pages, revealing faint pencil strokes on the reverse side. With trembling hands, I turned it over to find a sketched profile girl glancing back in a breezy corridor. Hair tousled. Youthful features, unmistakably 17-year-old Emily. Below sprawled a flamboyant script, my dearest. Most beloved Emily. You didn't really think I wouldn't recognize you, did you? Suddenly I understood Ethan's message, that cocky, self-satisfied implication that he'd known my handwriting and speech patterns all along. I collapsed against the desk, tears streaming down my face. Ethan, you liar. You never loved Sophia. You deceived me all along. You already knew how my future would unravel, didn't you? That's why you followed my script so precisely. The letter's cover still bore my original timeline notes. The desperate reminders I'd scribbled against oblivion. February 2017, meet Ethan. Annoying. March 2017, flee to seaside with Ethan. Tolerable. April 2017, fall for Ethan. Good guy. Decent at basketball. May 2017, disaster strikes. Ethan saves me from darkness. Demands justice. June 2017, Ethan dies in fire. But reality now. Read, February 2017, meet Ethan. March 2017, miss seaside escape. April 2017, grow distant from Ethan. May 2017, fight through darkness alone. June 2017, Ethan dies in fire. No matter how I twisted events, regardless of how many times we reset, Ethan would plunge into flames 1,000 times over to save me. The wind surged violently, white curtains billowing like sails as the letter trembled in my grip, a pale butterfly ready to disintegrate. Memories churned violently, old recollections fading as new realities cemented. The time-worn letter and its envelope dissolved into nothingness despite my screams. Everything vanished. All I retained was this: in February 2017, I met an irritating boy named Ethan with beautiful eyes. He later partnered with popular student Sophia for festival rehearsals. While I struggled through family chaos and unspeakable trauma, this decent classmate died saving me from a fire. His burns too severe. I've visited his grave and comforted his mother for years, steeped in gratitude and guilt. When asked about unforgettable people, I instantly answer Ethan Carter. The cheap man looking for a date found himself blocked. My mother stopped arranging blind dates, unnerved by my icy tone. I quit my soul-crushing job, revisited my old communications university, and wept watching police academy cadets march past. Returning to journalism, I now specialize in youth sexual education and safety advocacy. Finally, I've reached the future Ethan wanted for me. He remains forever young, forever radiant,